The problem is the racism is in everywhere. The people we focus in football is not just in football, unfortunately. If it was just in football, we'll be safe, but the racism is in everywhere.
It's everywhere, it has been everywhere, always have been, and it looks like it always will be.
Where there's football, you don't remember your race, tribe, or differences because it's a game that brings the world together. But as much as this sport brings us together, racism is one thing that has plagued the sport over the years. And in this video, we'll be looking at outrageous racist moments in football. First is the racist moment between Suarez and Evra. During the 2011 Liverpool vs Manchester United match, the two didn't seem to start with any problems, but in the 58th minute, Suarez fouled Evra. Some fans believe that the foul was a deliberate one, but whether it was accurate or not, the referee thought it merited a free kick which was awarded in Man U's favor. The next encounter between the two would be seen around the 62nd minute after Liverpool played a corner that was deflected past the post, and that's when the two men had the chance to get things off of their chests. Evra began the conversation in Spanish by saying something that meant effing hell in English. Suarez asked Evra to repeat what he had said, and he asked him back, "Why did you kick me?" Suarez allegedly replied something that meant, "because you are black." Evra was not having it and asked Suarez to repeat what he had said, which Suarez allegedly did. There were no witnesses to testify that Suarez said that to Evra, and Suarez denied he ever used those words on the man. Talking about denial, a similar incident was repeated between John Terry and Anton Ferdinand. Yeah, Anton Ferdinand is Rio Ferdinand's brother, who played for St. Mirren before he retired in 2019. During a Premier League match between Chelsea and Queen's Park Rangers on October the 23rd of 2011, Terry had allegedly referred to Ferdinand in very rude words, which also included his skin color. The pair appeared to have been involved in a heated exchange, and Terry was captured on video, allegedly using the offensive term while walking away. Terry had denied ever saying that to Ferdinand, while Frank Lampard, who was his teammate, and manager Andre Villaboa vouched for his innocence. Terry said in his statement that he thought that Ferdinand was accusing him of using a racist slur against him, and said that he responded aggressively, saying that he would never say such a thing. However, if racism between players was not enough, the racist abuse that some players have faced from fans is equally outrageous, and one of those players would be Mario Balotelli. During a Series A match, while his team was losing 2-1 in favor of Verona, he was racially abused by Verona fans with monkey chants. Balotelli felt attacked by the Verona fans and responded by picking up the ball near the corner flag and kicking it towards the fans that were verbally abusing him. He also threatened to leave the pitch after being racially abused, and the fans wouldn't stop doing it. His teammates and other Verona players who saw what was happening stopped him from leaving the pitch by consoling him. The game continued on, and Balotelli scored a stunning goal in the 85th minute before taking to Instagram to thank his colleagues while also condemning the offenders. He wrote to the offenders, "The people of this curva who made the monkey chants, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you, in front of your children, wives, relatives, parents, friends, and acquaintances." And while Balotelli had responded to fans by trying to walk off the pitch, Dani Alves had a humorous response. While Dani Alves was trying to take a corner kick at a game, a banana landed on the pitch next to him. The banana, which had been thrown by a fan in order to abuse him, did not seem to deliver it to Dani Alves. Instead of yelling at the fan, kicking the fruit, or even walking away and being upset, he simply picked up the fruit, peeled it, and ate it before playing his corner. The linesman next to him, along with home supporters and even his colleagues, were shocked to see him eat the banana. And when he asked the reason for his actions, he said, "We have suffered this in Spain for some time. You have to take it with a dose of humor. We aren't going to change things easily. If you don't give it importance, they don't achieve their objective." And when we talk about Spain and racism, we might just have to agree with Dani Alves because of what happened to Samuel Eto'o. Back in 2006 in Zaragoza, Spain, when Real Zaragoza hosted FC Barcelona in a league match, Zaragoza fans taunted Eto'o directly. Throughout the match, Eto'o had been subjected to periodic verbal abuse by a section of the crowd, but he kept his cool and continued to play. In the 77th minute, he could no longer take it. While Barça was in their attacking end and won a corner, Eto'o collected the ball and had bottles thrown at him before a chorus of monkey chants came from that corner of the crowd. That's when Eto'o would seek out Zaragoza defender Alvaro, grabbing his arm and showing it to the crowd as if to show them that he too was black, but the abuse simply continued on. The referee had demanded that an announcement be made over the PA system to stop the chanting, but Eto'o had had enough. He began to walk off the field while saying, "No mas, no mas, no mas," which means no more.
No mas, no more.
His entire team, along with some of Zaragoza's team, and even the referee, got in his way and convinced him to finish the match, and for that, Real Zaragoza was fined €600. Next up, we have Romelu Lukaku. He was subjected to racist chants as well, having monkey noises aimed at him as he stepped up to take the 72nd minute spot kick that sealed Inter's 2-1 win at their Sardinia arena. The abuse was coming from the home crowd, and it continued as Romelu celebrated his goal. Romelu just stood and glared at the fans in response, and at the end of the match, he showed his displeasure while the Inter's ultras wrote him a letter defending their supporters. Part of the letter reads, "We are really sorry you thought what happened in Cagliari was racist. You have to understand that Italy is not like many other North European countries where racism is a real problem. We understand that it could have seemed racist to you, but it is not like that. We are not racist, and so are not the fans." And that brings us to another outrageous racist moment in football between Antonio Rudiger and Cadiz fans. The fans suddenly began to hurl abuses at Rudiger after he went to the stands to give his shirt to someone in the crowd. Objects were also being thrown at him following Real Madrid's 2-0 victory. Rudiger, however, exchanged a few words with some of the fans who were yelling at him before giving his shirt away and saluting some of the supporters. Two people who appeared to be members of Real Madrid staff came over to lead him away from the fans before things became serious. After the incident, Rudiger didn't comment on it, but instead posted about his team's win. He wrote, "Well-deserved away win, next stop Stamford Bridge." If you haven't heard about any racist moments before, then you must be living under a rock, especially the recent one that happened to Vinicius Jr. Supporters could be heard calling him a monkey during the 1-0 win at home against Valencia recently. Earlier in the game, he had tried to call the referee's attention to the racists in the crowd, and that resulted in a pause in the game. However, the fans would not stop, and Vinicius was ushered away by his teammates and opponents. The referee and the club's manager, Carlo Ancelotti, also spoke to him and agreed to ignore the abuse on the pitch. Off the pitch, however, Vinicius would write on Twitter how he was constantly being abused in La Liga, and while we may not know about every occasion that has taken place, what we do know is about 3 of them. In November of 2021, against Barça, Vinicius was racially abused, also at Atletico Madrid in September of 2022, and in Valladolid later that year in December. La Liga's president, Javier Tebas, would respond to Vinny in a post that has now been criticized by writing, "Before you criticize and insult La Liga, you need to inform yourself well, Vinny Jr. Don't let yourself be manipulated." After that criticism, Tebas also apologized, saying he was misunderstood. However, Junior's native country of Brazil didn't seem to take the matter lightly, as they were disappointed that nothing had been done to curb the abuse in Spain. Brazil called on the Spanish authorities to identify the perpetrators and punish them accordingly, and just so that Spain and everyone else in the world would know that the Brazilians were taking things very seriously, the Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro turned off its lights for 1 hour. In response to the massive outpour of condemnation, Spanish prosecutors have opened an investigation to identify the perpetrators and make an example out of them. What do you think about these racist moments in football? And are there others that could have been included in this list? Let us know about it in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.